So if you can possibly just mute your microphones, okay? Because you're disturbing other students. Is it possible? Can you just mute your computers, please? All right. So if you see the first slide, I think it's clear. If it's not clear, then I can zoom it again. Wow, what's going on? Can you just listen and look, please? All right. Please just listen to me and look at the slides. I'm going to move slide by slide. And if you have questions, I'll give you 15 minutes at the end and you can ask your questions, okay? I would like you also to just shut down your cameras. It's okay if you shut. I don't need to see everybody. I don't need to see you. Okay, you can shut your cameras off. Okay. So this first slide is about the question is, are we going to use because or because of? And this is very simple, of course. If you see with me the first example, we delayed our trip because of the bad weather. So why did we have because of, or what do we have because of and not because? Because again, the reason is that the bad weather is a noun phrase or just a noun, just for the time being, consider it a noun. Because we have a noun, we might use because of instead of because, okay? So the second sentence, Sue's, Sue's eyes were red because she had been crying. Why do we have because here? And there is no preposition of, very simply because we have a sentence here. She had been crying is a sentence or a clause. That's why we have because here without preposition. Because once we have a preposition, of course, it's followed by ing form or a noun. Okay, I hope so far so good. It's clear. Then if you move to example number 3, the water in most rivers unsafe to drink. So in your opinion, are we going to say because of pollution or because pollution? Of course, we are going to say because of pollution, because pollution is just a noun here, all right? Just like weather. The only difference here is we have adjective noun, article adjective noun, but here we have just a noun, okay? So number 4, the water in most rivers is unsafe to drink because or because of. It is polluted. We are going to use because it is polluted. All right. So why? Because we have it is the subject, is a verb, and polluted is an adjective. Okay. So pollution is a noun, but polluted is an adjective in which we have, of course, followed by, after a verb, the verb to be and the subject, it. Then if you go to example number 5, some people think Harry succeeded in business because or because of his charming personality rather than his business skills. This is a long group of words. Do we have a verb? We don't. So his charming personality rather than his business skills is just a group of words. And if you remember, I always explain in class that a group of words is called a phrase. Okay, so it's not a sentence or a clause, it's just a phrase. So because we have a phrase here, noun phrase, we are going to use because of, okay, plus preposition. Example number 6, you can enter the secured area because or because of you don't have an official permit. So of course, because we have you don't have an official permit, we are going to use because, not because of, no preposition. So the difference between because and because of is preposition. After preposition, we use, of course, a noun phrase, or just verb plus ing form. Why verb plus ing form? Because verb plus ing form functions as a noun. Okay, give you an example. Example is like read. Read is a verb, but reading is a noun. I like reading. Okay, write is a verb, but writing is a noun. I like writing, for example. Good. So next example is my lecture notes were incomplete because of or because the instructor talked too fast. So what is this? The instructor talked too fast. This is a sentence, right? We have a verb. The verb is talked. Because of this, we are going to use just because, not because of. And the last one is it's unsafe to travel in that country because of. Why of? Because we have the ongoing civil war. So civil war is a noun, civil is an adjective, ongoing is an adjective, which is present participle adjective, and then the article. This is a phrase again. Because we have a noun phrase, we are going to use just because of, okay? I hope this slide is clear. Some students are raising their hands, okay? I'm sorry, I just can't give you the floor right now, but at the end of the lecture, I could give you 15 minutes and I can take some of your questions, of course. Not all of your questions, but some of your questions. We can't cover all. This is on the one hand. So I can see now that we have 100 participants. And by the way, 100 is the limit, which means if you leave and somebody comes in, then you don't have, nobody's allowed after 100 seats. We only have the limit of 100 students to be participating in this course. Great. So the next slide is the rules. I mean, some of the rules that you don't have in your books, but you can check them with me here. Because plus sentence slash clause, but because of plus noun or verb ing form. Okay. Because without preposition here, we have, it could be changed, or we could replace it with since, as, sometimes for. For is also followed sometimes by a clause or by a sentence, okay? While because of equals just due to. Whatever we have because of, we can also use due to. Because of pollution, due to pollution, all right? Because of his charming personality, due to his charming personality. I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next slide. So now we're going to choose between two things, because or therefore. Of course, it's always cause and effect, but because expresses cause while therefore expresses effects or consequence. Complete the sentences with either because or therefore. Matt didn't feel well, therefore he didn't go to work yesterday. Okay? Matt didn't go to work yesterday because he didn't feel well. So see here, the same sentence, but we started with Matt didn't go to work yesterday. What is this, the effect or a cause? It's the effect. Why didn't he go to work yesterday? Because he didn't feel well, all right? So we have the linking word is the connective is because, and then followed by reason or cause. But if you start with the cause, which is Matt didn't feel well, then you check here and pay attention. I want you to pay very careful attention here. We have full stop and then therefore, comma, he didn't go to work yesterday. Okay? So at least you can check that while you have therefore, we have full stop and a comma. Okay? Whereas in the first one, we don't have. We have neither full stop nor comma here. All right? So therefore, with a capital T, don't forget that, which means if you have an exercise, of course, and you have to pay attention to punctuation. Punctuation can always help you to understand what to do or to choose one of the options, okay? Look at sentence number 3. Sharon hid her feelings from everyone. Full stop, comma, no one suspected the deep emotional pain she was suffering. So what should we put here? Because or therefore? Okay, so we're going to use here therefore. Therefore, not because. Sharon hid her feelings from everyone. As a result, therefore, the consequence is one. No one suspected the deep emotional pain she was suffering. All right? So if we were in class, I would ask you, the conditional number 2, I would ask you to change this sentence by starting with the effect instead. not with the cause. No one ever knows what's going on inside of Sharon because she hides her feelings behind a mask of smiles. Now we have the effect first, and then because, and we have no full stop. Can you imagine here? No full stop, no comma. Of course, we have the reason, because. And then it's followed by the cause, which is she hides her feelings behind a mask of smiles. Next example, 5. Young Joseph was an inquisitive student, comma, he was always liked by his teachers. So what do you think? What should we use here? Therefore? Of course, no. Okay? Because. And not because of, just because young Joseph was an inquisitive student, comma, he was always liked by his teachers. We can use, for example, if you want, we can say young Joseph was always liked by his teachers because he was an inquisitive student. All right? So we have the reason first, and then we have the consequence. However, what I want you to pay attention here too is the way we started with because. Even we can always start our sentence with because and say because young Joseph was an inquisitive student, comma, and then you give the effect. Because he is old, comma, he can't walk. Because he was sick, comma, he couldn't come to class, for example. We can always start our adverb clause. If you remember, we call it an adverb clause with a linking word, because or as or since and so on and so forth. Okay. Example 6. Television broadcast was interrupted in the middle of the 8th innings. So we have here a semicolon and we have a comma. Of course, we are going to have here a consequence. All right. So consequently, therefore, as a result, in effect, most of the audience missed the conclusion of the baseball game. So we have, again, as you see here, we have some punctuation going on. So when there is punctuation in the middle, most of the time, the linking word that we put or we choose is the effect, linking word about effects. Okay, could be consequently, as a result, in effect, as a consequence, therefore, thus, hence, all these are expressions of consequence. Next slide. So you have some rules here. Very simply, because expresses cause and reason, therefore expresses result, consequence, and effect. Other expressions of effect, therefore, so, consequently, hence, thus, and consequence, as a result. All right. Again, I'm not putting these dots here because I'm in love with the dots, but I want you to check that we have a sentence here, and then we have a full stop, and then we have a linking word, and then comma, and then the effect. All right. So whenever we have reason or cause and effect, there is this expression of consequence in the middle. All right. So, and you shouldn't forget about punctuation, which means full stop or semicolon and comma, and capitalization. All right. Whenever we have full stop here, we have capital letter at the beginning. So consequently, hence, thus, consequence is the result. All right. You can always take pictures of the slides if you want, or take notes, or it's up to you anyway. Okay. So due to, since, consequently. Complete the sentences with due to, since, or consequently. Add any necessary punctuation or capitalization. All right. So which one are we going to use here? His poor sight, John has to sit in the front row in class. So is it due to his poor eyesight, since his poor eyesight, or consequently his poor eyesight, John has to sit? We are going to use, of course, here due to, okay, or because of, but we don't have because of in the list. All right, because of or due to. Why? Because we have his poor eyesight. His poor eyesight, right? What is eyesight here? Eyesight is a noun, poor is an adjective, and his is a pronoun. All right. Do we need any punctuation here? Yes. Where? Where do we need to put a comma here? We need to put a comma after eyesight. Why? Because it's an adverb clause that starts with connective or linking word because of or due to his poor eyesight, comma, the main clause is John has to sit in front of the row in class. Okay, we can always say again, John has to sit in the front row in class because of or due to his poor eyesight, and then there's no comma whatsoever. Why? Because we started with the main clause. Students who attended my sessions, my earlier sessions, of course, they know what I'm talking about here. Then example 9, John has poor eyesight. So what's the difference between 8 and 9? He's poor eyesight, but John has the verb again. We have verb here, so it's a clause. All right.
Yes.
Because or due to or since or consequently, I think we're gonna use since. So since John has poor eyesight, comma. We need a comma again. Why? Because it's an adverb clause. Okay. So since John has poor eyesight, comma, he has to sit in the front row. Because John has poor eyesight, comma, he has to sit in the front row. Okay, so we can use because or since or also as. All right. I'm so sorry for students who raised their hands. Okay. I can't just give you the floor right now because we're gonna stay here forever. Okay. So I'll give you 15 minutes at the end for comments and questions. Okay. Sorry. Sorry again. Just unmute. Try, please. I do request you to unmute your microphones because it's probably disturbing other students. Okay. Or there might be echoes.
Yes.
So 10. Example 10. John has poor eyesight. And then we have this blank in the middle. He has to sit in the front row. So you can, the same example is used always here, but with different connectives and different positions of the connectives, which means that this is always why I said grammar is not just to receive or to learn, it's to use. I want you to use to produce your own sentences by using probably the same sentence, you paraphrase, but use different connectives. Use because, use consequently, use as a result. Then you can come up with a number of sentences, but with different styles and different structures. So John has poor eyesight, full stop. Consequently, comma, he has to sit in the front row, all right? Or John has poor eyesight, semicolon, consequently, he has to sit in front row. Okay? 11, Sarah is afraid of heights. She will not walk across the bridge. So this is the reason. Sarah is afraid of heights. Full stop. Consequently, and we can always put another linking word. Consequently is a result, in effect, thus, hence, and comma here, she will not walk across a bridge. Why will not she walk across a bridge? Because she is afraid of heights. Okay. 12, Sarah will not walk across a bridge, and here we have it, since her fear of heights, or due to her fear of heights, or consequently her fear of heights. What should we use here? So we have, first we have a cause here, her fear of heights. We have no verb again, pay attention, all right? We have fear of heights. This is a group of words which is a phrase. It's a noun phrase. Because it's a phrase, we are going to use a linking word that has preposition, and it's due to, okay? Due to her fear of heights, or because of her fear of heights. Next, Mark is overweight. His doctor has advised him to exercise regularly. So are we going to say Mark is overweight due to his doctor has advised him? No, it doesn't make sense. Mark is overweight since his doctor has advised him to exercise regularly? No, it doesn't make sense. Because if you say that, it means that his doctor advised him to exercise regularly. That's why he's overweight, which is contradictory. It's paradoxical. It doesn't make any sense, okay? So what should we say here? Mark is overweight, full stop. Consequently, comma, his doctor advised him to exercise regularly, all right? That's why his doctor advise him to exercise regularly. So that's how we can do that one. Now, a diamond is extremely hard. It can be used to cut glass. What should we use here? Okay, so we have since, due to, consequently. Due to a diamond is extremely hard? No, it can be used to cut glass. So you can see here again, for students who attended my earlier classes, diamond is extremely hard. This is one clause. It can be used to cut glass. This is another clause. The main clause is, of course, this one. It can be used to cut glass. Okay. However, we need a connective here. We are going to use because or since. Because or since or as. Since a diamond is extremely hard, comma, it can be used to cut glass. Because a diamond is extremely hard, it can be used to cut glass. So because we have a clause here, we are going to use because or since or as, and not preposition, because it's not a noun phrase. Okay, I hope it's clearer. The next one, such that and so that. I know some of you, of course, you understand what is so and then that or dot that, because you studied that before, right? In terms of purpose, you remember purpose? You studied purpose, expressions of purpose, so that or so as to or in order to. Now, what do we have here? You have to be careful because there is some ambiguity here, and we need to explain this ambiguity, okay? So these are two expressions that go together, such and then something that, and then another phrase or clause, and then so, and then phrase or clause, and then that. So the common thing that we have here is that, but we have such and so. So decide which one are we going to put. We do the exercise first, and then after the exercise, I'm going to explain the difference, okay? It was such a hot day that we canceled our tennis game. We're always talking about cause and effect, right? Cause and effect, the reason. It was such a hot day that we canceled our tennis game. So why did we cancel our tennis game? Because it was a hot day, all right? But how is this phrase or clause or sentence formulated here? It was such a hot day that we canceled our tennis game. Just switch your eyes, put your eyes on this second example with so, and then we can see the difference between the first and the second, okay? The test was so easy that everyone got a high score. The test was so easy that everyone got a high score. So in your opinion, well, I'm not asking you to answer me, I'm just a rhetorical question, okay? It was such a hot day and so easy. Well, my internet connection. By the way, I forgot to tell you, if it happens that I'm disconnected for 1 second or 1 minute, probably I'll be back. I mean, if my internet, for example, breaks down here, I'll just switch my hotspot, my mobile phone hotspot. So you might have to wait for a couple of minutes or just 1 minute. All right, I hope it's clear. So here, as I said, what's the difference? The difference is such a hot day. We have a noun here, day. Okay, we have hot day. We have a phrase, article. Hot is an adjective, and day is a noun. However, so easy. Easy is just an adjective, so it's not a noun. So whenever we have a noun, we use such. Whenever we have an adjective, we use so. And that is the same, of course. It gives us the consequence or the effect. Okay? So we're going to check with other examples and then come back to explain the difference again. All right? So the movie was, and then we have bad, that we left early. So what are we going to use here? So or such. We have adjective bad is an adjective. We are going to use so. Good. I can hear some voices actually, but I don't want everybody to speak at once, okay? Okay. So we are going to use so because we had adjective bad, like adjective easy. The movie was so bad that we left early. Why did we leave early? Because the movie was so bad. So it's just another way of giving the reason in a sentence. Okay? It's always about cause and effect. Number 4, it was a bad movie that we left early. So what do we have here? A bad movie. Okay? So it was, we're going to use, of course, such. Yeah, such. Why? Because we have a phrase, a noun phrase. It's a noun,
Yes.
movie is a noun, but then when we have a collection or a group of words, we call it a phrase. That movie is a noun phrase. Okay, great. Professor James is a stern taskmaster that lazy students won't take his class. What are we going to use here? Professor James is such. Good. Such. Why?
Such.
Because we have taskmaster is a noun. We use such here. Good. The restaurant patron at the table near us was belligerent that we all left. Belligerent is an adjective. Okay? So because we have an adjective, we are going to use so. Was so belligerent that we left, that we all felt embarrassed, especially when he swept everything off the table and demanded his money back. Belligerent means arrogant. It means not kind, not nice, not sweet. Okay? The intricate metal lacework on the Eiffel Tower in Paris was, and then we have complicated. Now, complicated, is it an adjective or a noun? It is an adjective, of course. All right? So we're going to use so. Was so complicated that the structure that took more than 2.5 years complete. Charles and his brothers are hard-working carpenters that I'm sure they'll make a success of their new business. So what do we have here? Hard-working carpenters. We have an adjective hard-working, but it just modifies a noun, carpenters. So we have a noun phrase. Okay, so we're going to use such. Charles and his brother are such hardworking carpenters that I am sure they will make a success of their own business. Great. I want you to pay attention to this example here, particularly or specifically. And if you go back to example number 1, it was such a hot day. This is singular. Such a hot day. And in this example, we have such hardworking carpenters, plural, which means we can always, we can use such with singular noun or plural noun, but you have to be careful about the article a here or a, okay? So the children had much fun at the carnival that they begged to go again. Well, I have, the internet is good, no problem. The children had much fun at the carnival that they begged to go again. So what do we have here? Much fun. Fun, is it a noun or adjective? It's a noun, right? Okay. So, but what are we going to use here? Such or so? The children had such much fun at the carnival that they begged to go again. Okay, what do you think? Well, nobody can answer here. Good. So you have to be careful. We talked about noun, we use such. If we have a noun, we use such, okay? But not in this example. Not in this example here. Why? Because here we have a different thing, a different adjective here, much. So whenever we have much or many, or little, or two, or we use a quantifier, we use so. We don't use such, even if we have a noun here, okay? So you have to be careful about that. So the children had so, not such here, so much fun at the carnival that they begged to go again. Number 10, I feel like I have little energy that I wonder if I'm getting bad. I'm getting sick, sorry. Okay, so I feel like I have, and then we have little energy. Energy here is what? It's a noun again. But then don't forget about this one. Like it's a trick. All right. Little is a quantifier. Because this is a quantifier, we are going to use so, not such. So the only problem, which means from 1 to 8, it's good. It's just noun, we use such. Adjective, we use so. But when you come to 9 and 10, example 9 and example 10, it's totally different because we have the rule is broken here. How is it broken? We have a noun, fun and energy. Normally, we usually are supposed to use such, but because we have much and little, they are quantifiers, we just use so. We're going to use so. So children had so much fun. I feel like I have so little energy, not such little energy. All right? I hope this is clear. Look at these rules here. I'll give you 1 second to meditate on the rules. All right, so the rules we have, it was such a beautiful film that we spent 3 hours watching it. What is this? We have cause and we have effect. And such that. Such because we have beautiful film. Okay, so a beautiful film means is a noun phrase in which we have a noun film, and beautiful is an adjective, and a is an article. Such plus noun phrase. The film was so suspenseful that we spent 3 hours watching it. Now we have so because suspenseful is just an adjective. It's not a noun phrase. Okay, just an adjective that we spent 3 hours watching it. So plus adjective or adverb, even adverb, we can use so. Okay, we got such interesting information that we could be more motivated to investigate. Such plus interesting plus information. Information is a noun, interesting is an adjective. Such wonderful stars make you meditate. We can always start with such, using such, but we don't have that here. Such wonderful stars make you meditate, which just means wonderful stars like these, wonderful stars like these, and we turn the sentence, we say this in this word or in this rewording, say such wonderful stars make you meditate. Such plus uncountable noun, such plus plural noun in these cases here. Okay, next one. So we move to the next slide. Okay, such that and so that. Just another example or another exercise about the same connectives. So we took a walk. It was a nice day. It was such a nice day that we took a walk. Now you have to combine the two sentences, the two cause and effect. You have to use a combination thing, but by using such that or so that. The other one was the weather was hot. You could fry an egg on the sidewalk. I couldn't understand her. She talked too fast. So how can we use now such that or so that here in these examples? So look at example number 1 again. We took a walk. It was a nice day. It was such a nice day that we took a walk. Now the weather was hot. You could fry an egg on the sidewalk. Very simply, we are going to use to say the weather was so hot that you could fry an egg on the sidewalk. Okay? The weather was so hot that you could fry an egg on the sidewalk. I couldn't understand her. She talked too fast. How can we combine this one? Okay, so she talked so fast that I couldn't understand her. She talked so fast that I couldn't understand her. Look, pay attention here. What did we change? We changed to. Okay, the adverb to with the adjective or the adverb so. Okay, she talked too fast. We cannot say she talked so too fast. No, she talked too fast. So whenever we have to with double O, okay, which is an adverb. We change it with so to combine cause and effect. So she talked so fast that I couldn't understand her. Great. Now, it was an expensive car. We couldn't afford to buy it. What do we have here? An expensive car. An expensive car, which means that we have car is a noun, expensive is an adjective, we have a noun. We are going to use such. So it was such an expensive car that we couldn't afford to buy it. It was such an expensive car that we couldn't afford to buy it. Okay? I don't feel like going to class. We're having beautiful weather. I don't feel like going to class. We're having beautiful weather. So we're going to start here by the cause and say, we're having such beautiful weather that I don't feel like going to class. We are having such a beautiful weather that I don't feel like going to class. Okay? 6. Grandpa held me tightly when he hugged me. I couldn't breathe for a moment. He's lucky, this boy. Grandpa held me tightly when he hugged me. I couldn't breathe for a moment. So what should we use here? How can we combine these two sentences or two clauses by using such that or so that? Okay. So let's say Grandpa held me so tightly when he hugged me that I couldn't breathe for a moment. Okay? Grandpa held me so tightly when he hugged me that I couldn't breathe for a moment. Okay? So what do we have here? We have tightly is an adverb, not an adjective. And if you remember, we have so plus adjective or so plus adverb. Okay? So 7. There were a few people at the meeting. It was cancelled. There were few people at the meeting. It was cancelled. So what should we do here? We have people, and people is a noun. It's not a verb. Normally we should use such, right? But just a request. Would you please switch off your phones and just try to be in a quiet place? In a calm place. I can hear some radio waves going on somewhere, some hole, in some place in the middle of nowhere, of Azra or whatever. I don't know exactly. Could you please just switch off all your devices, okay, and just listen to me, please. All right, and even mute. I want you to mute your microphones, okay? Right. So there were a few people at the meeting. What do we have here? We have people is a noun, but remember we have few. It's a quantifier. It's a quantifier. So even if we have a noun here, we have a quantifier here. So we're not going to use such. We are going to use so. There were so few people at the meeting that it was canceled. Why was it canceled? Because there were only a few people. Okay, so there were so few people at the meeting that it was canceled. The classroom, okay, my internet again. Give me 1 second. The classroom has comfortable chairs. The students find it easy to fall asleep. Okay, what do we have here? We have comfortable chairs. Chairs is a noun. Comfortable is an adjective. It's a noun phrase. We use such. The classroom has such comfortable chairs. So it's not so comfortable chairs, such comfortable chairs that the students find it easy to fall asleep. Okay, the classroom has such comfortable chairs that the students find it easy to fall asleep. Ted couldn't get to sleep last night. He was worried about the exam. Ted couldn't get to sleep last night. He was worried about the exam. So why couldn't he get to sleep last night? Because he was worried about the exam. Okay, so we are going to say Ted. Imagine again, remember, we studied this last time in the class, okay, that we cannot always start with a pronoun. We need to change it with its It's a noun, the noun that refers to, which is here Ted. Ted was so worried about the exams that he couldn't get to sleep last night. Okay? Ted was so worried about the exam that he couldn't get to sleep last night. Jerry got angry. He put his fist through the wall. Jed got angry. He put his fist through the wall. So Jed got so angry. This angry is an adjective. Because of an adjective, we're going to use so that. Jerry got angry, got so angry that he put his fist through the wall. I have many problems. I can use all the help you can give me. So I have many problems is the cause. But we have many problems. Again, problems is a noun. Well, normally or usually we use such, right? But we have many. Don't forget, we have a quantifier. Many, much, little, few. Be careful, all right? What we use is so, not such anymore. I have so many problems. So we cannot say here, I have such many problems. I have so many problems that I can use all the help you can give me. I have so many problems that I can use all the help you can give me. The tornado struck with great force. It lifted automobiles off the ground. Tornado struck with great force. It lifted automobiles off the ground. What is the cause? The cause is this one. Tornado struck with great force. Okay, with great force. So force is a noun, and great is an adjective. With is a preposition. We have, what do we have here? We have phrase, a noun phrase, not an adjective. So the tornado struck with such great force, that it lifted automobiles off the ground. Okay, tornado struck with such great force that it lifted automobiles off the ground. I can't figure out what this sentence says. His handwriting is illegible. Okay, so what is the cause? His handwriting is illegible. Illegible is an adjective. Very simply an adjective, we use so. His handwriting is so illegible that I can't figure out what his sentence says. His handwriting is so illegible that I can't figure out what this sentence says. Excuse me. David has too many girlfriends. He can't remember all their names. Well, I remember this David last year. He must be Moroccan David. David has too many girlfriends. He can't remember all of their names. That's crazy. Okay. So what do we have here? We have girlfriends is a noun phrase. The many girlfriends is a noun phrase. Girlfriends is a noun. Normally we should use such. But what do we have again? Remember, we have many. Okay. And we have two. We're going to change it with so. David has so many girlfriends that he can remember all of their names. Okay. David has so many girlfriends that he can't remember all of their names. Too many people came to the meeting. They were not enough. There were not enough seats for everyone. Too many people came to the meeting. There were not enough seats for everyone. So many people came to the meeting that there were not enough seats for everyone. So many people came to the meeting that. So what we do here is just drop the full stop, change it with that, remove the capital here, there, okay? And then you combine the two sentences. However, we need to change this to with so, okay? So many people came to the meeting that there were not enough seats for everyone. I hope it's clear. All right, so far so good, guys? I don't know. Yes, no?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. So I need you to relieve me sometimes by saying yes, because I can't hear everybody. Actually, can hear only some of you, and some were saying that they can't hear. Okay, good. Excuse me, I'm just having a look at your chat, okay? Chat box. Too much noise, sir. Yeah, that's why I asked you, please, if you could mute your microphones, okay? And somebody said, what a beautiful moment when you cook your breakfast and study at the same time. Ha, ha, ha. That's great. So you're cooking and studying. It's really great. Yeah, sure. Good. Yes. Oh, very nice. Good. Before that. Excellent. Very good. Excellent. So some of you are cooking. Really great. All right. Great. So I just had a look at your chat box so that I can see your comments. That's all. Thank you. Thank you for leaving the comments. All right. So that's it about so that and such that. Now